Hey, what is up everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today. We're talking about the greatest Royal Rumble of 2018 that was held in Saudi Arabia. I honestly don't know what the world is going to think of the world's greatest Royal Rumble when we rethink on this WWE Network special in 2018. If it's going to be looked as, if it is a real Royal Rumble, or if it is a real pay-per-view, or we're just going to sort of forget about it, sort of like the Beast in the East show, or maybe the King of the Ring special from a few years ago when the network was getting off the ground. There's no doubt in my mind that WWE took this event as some sort of a cash grab. There's a lot of people who have negative things to say about WWE working with the people of Saudi Arabia, but as WWE is a publicly traded company, and for them to have the chance, the news came out from Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that WWE was more than likely going to make in between $100 and $200 million for this small one-day show over in Saudi Arabia. That is the total amount that they're going to take in, not including merchandise. And as you saw from those crowd shots throughout the crowd, there was a lot of t-shirts, there was a lot of hats, there was a lot of wristbands. This honestly was like another WrestleMania. There was a 60,000 to 70,000 attendance. I guess that if they would have put more seats on the floor, you could definitely see that there was patches on the floor where they did not want to sell seats because of restricted view angles. But with the amount of people they had in those stands and what they were charging, I'm really surprised that somebody didn't find a way to put some more seats out there to pack some more fans in there, because at the point that they were packed to the rafters, I think they could have got more people in there and made more money. But you know, that's just me, and you know, it is what it is. This was a good show. I mean, there was 2 matches on here that I skipped. To be honest, this is probably the most ridiculous, this is probably the most trouble that I've ever had with anything on the WWE Network, and I didn't even watch this live. The only excuse that I could make is because of the time that this show was on. It was on live from 9 in the morning until, I'm not sure what time this show went, until 2 in the afternoon here in the Pacific. That I'm sure a lot of people were at work, not having Friday off, and they probably were all watching it on demand. And I really honestly don't know how on-demand streams work, but I'm sure there was more people watching this show on demand than they did live, wanting to see what this show looked like over in Saudi Arabia. I did tune in for a few minutes during my lunch, and I watched the Undertaker match. I saw how beautiful it looked, and I just said, I don't want to mess this up. I want to watch this show when I get home, and that's what I did. But the Undertaker match, I believe, was about an 8-minute match, somewhere in there, with Rusev, and that match honestly took me about an hour, easily, to get through, from trying for the thing to reload, for me resetting my Apple TV, to me resetting the router 3 times. I did a lot, and there was a point where I just wanted to say, that's it, forget it. You know, I'm done. But you know, after one time, it finally kicked in, and I never had another glitch the rest of the night. So it is what it is. The pay-per-view kicked off with John Cena versus Triple H. I honestly thought it was a really good match, but you could really tell that it was a house show match. There was some easy covers and kickouts that were really obvious, that Cena was just sort of brushing Triple H off, and Triple H was getting up. You know, Cena got the win after, you know, basically strapping Triple H in the STFU, and I thought there was no way that Triple H was going to be tapping out. But they did a really cool finish where basically John Cena picked up Triple H for the attitude adjustment. He turned it into the pedigree, which then Cena turned that into the attitude adjustment, and that's how we got down with the AA. Cena gets the win. They were saying that this was retribution for losing at WrestleMania, being able to beat Triple H after losing to The Undertaker. Even though the match was short and it was only a couple of minutes long at WrestleMania, I don't think Cena has anything to hang his head on losing to Undertaker. At least, his name will be in the Hall of Fame of guys that Undertaker has beat at WrestleMania, and it's like the exclamation point on the end of his career. Cedric Alexander beat Kalisto to keep the Cruiserweight Championship. We had Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. They're the new winners of the Raw Tag Team titles. I thought this was just a match on the road to get to, who is going to be the tag champions. I didn't know this was the finals. But Bray and Matt Hardy, to me, are a little bit of a surprise. They just got together. They've already got the titles. WWE obviously must have some sort of a plan for what they're doing with these guys, especially with Jeff Hardy wrestling on SmackDown. Jeff Hardy was able to get the win over Jinder Mahal. Really cool seeing Jeff Hardy's entrance and exit with all of the pyro that went along with him. Really cool to see him in those lights. Jeff said that he was going to treat this like his WrestleMania, seeing how he was injured at the time, and he really did. From there we go to the Bludgeon Brothers, getting the win over the Usos, keeping the SmackDown tag titles. Nothing to this point was really a big surprise along the way. There was lots of rumors surrounding the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Rollins came in as champion, battling against Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and The Miz. Lots of people thought that maybe The Miz would win this and basically find it as a way to break is it Pedro Morales' Intercontinental Championship record? Maybe find a way to get away from Daniel Bryan and get sent back to Monday Night Raw. But that isn't what happened. Really cool finish with Finn Balor climbing the ladder, looking like he had an easy way to the win. But Seth Rollins sprung off the ropes, caught himself on the ladder, and basically at the moment Finn Balor was going to grab the belt, Seth grabbed it instead. So it's looking like they're setting up a lot of Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor singles matches somewhere along the way. I know that we didn't see Finn Balor wrestle as the Demon at WrestleMania either, but seeing how this was a match to sort of show Saudi Arabia who WWE is, and a lot of the way that they sort of publicize Finn Balor, they like to put him out there, is as the Demon. We haven't seen the Demon since late last year in the match against AJ Styles, I believe at TLC, which was late in the summer. I think they need to write some sort of the feud where Finn Balor pulls the Demon out and brings this guy out. I don't know if it's Vince or the writers, doesn't really understand, but the Demon is really what sets Finn Balor apart and makes him the star that he is. They need to be finding some way to use him. From there we go to AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. This match ended in a double countout for the WWE Championship. No doubt in my mind they're going to be going to Backlash, having another match along the way. But this was sort of treated like it was a real pay-per-view. I don't know who, but it was out there being sold for $45 to buy this pay-per-view, and I'm sure there were some people out there that actually bought it. WWE Championship matches should not be ending in double countouts, in my mind. That's a double thumbs down from that. Especially with people saying that the Styles versus Nakamura WrestleMania match didn't deliver. Find a way that the rematch does deliver. Undertaker beat Rusev in the casket match. Undertaker was able to throw Rusev into the casket twice, finally being able to close it after giving Aiden English a tombstone and locking him in the casket as well. Surprise, surprise, with Brock Lesnar retaining the championship against Roman Reigns when Brock was able to escape the cage after a Roman Reigns spear. There's no doubt that the rules were sort of bending and broken. Steel cage matches, a lot like Royal Rumbles, end when both feet touch the floor. But the bell was rung after Brock's back hit the floor, and even though his feet were elevated because the cage was still connected at the ring, They gave the championship to Brock. People thought that this was going to be Brock's last match and Roman would get the win in Saudi Arabia. Now it looks like we're building towards Backlash, but who really wants to see Roman win the championship at Backlash? I'm guessing this is at least going to be going until SummerSlam, if not longer, in my mind. And then Braun Strowman won the first ever 50-man Royal Rumble by eliminating Big Cass. There were not real big surprises because WWE put it out there who was going to be the special entrants. We saw the Great Khali make his return. We saw Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho come in. I was surprised we didn't see as many NXT names as we did. But just about everybody got in there. Even though there was 50 competitors in there, there was a lot of competitors like Fandango that just basically got into the ring and were eliminated. There was a long list of competitors that were in the Rumble for less than 1 minute. So I'm not quite sure that 50 is the magic number to go with. I still really liked 40, especially with NXT, 205 Live, and the UK guys that they can use in there. And you always want to leave a few special spots for some secret people that we haven't seen in a little bit. So this was a good show. I still have questions whether, what people are going to think about this show a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. If Royal Rumble comes around in January and they're even talking about this, keeping it along with their records that they keep every year, because we know that the biggest part about the Royal Rumble is the facts that come out. So we'll see what goes down. I'm sure that there'll be more videos along the way, but the next big show that we're looking forward to is Backlash.